Dame, whether it's a box and one, 1-2-2, however they want to step up, trap, what is it that isn't working for you guys when you guys are getting to the second side right now? Because it feels like you guys are creating looks as you close down the stretch that just, for whatever reason, not falling.
I mean, I think it's what you said. It's just not falling. I think early in games, it's not as much, and I think this goes for both teams in every game. Early in games, certain things are going to work out that don't work out the same down the stretch. When the game is on the line. I think first quarter, second quarter, sometimes even the third quarter, it's just not as much pressure and there's not as much weight on those situations. So you see the game start to look different as it gets toward the end. And then when you take into consideration fatigue and adjustments and things like that, it just looks different. But I think in a game like tonight, I thought we played pretty strong. And then in the fourth quarter, when it's time to win the game, it's just a matter of who can get stops and who's going to make shots. And they went small. They started switching everything. They face guarded me. They gave me a lot of attention, and I just tried to, stay in attack mode. And, when it wasn't there and they sold out two people, I was just, passing ahead, hitting into the pocket. And from there, we just got to take advantage of that. And, we had a couple times where we got good looks and didn't make them. A couple times we got fouled. And, other times we just weren't able to capitalize. But, when teams play that way, that's what it's pretty much going to come down to is – how well we're able to execute and kind of hurt them when they play that type of junk defense.
Chauncey said that maybe the team relied too much on you tonight. Did you feel that way?
I mean, I never go out there and look at it like, the team is relying on me or anything like that. Like I said, I just try to be in attack mode and be aggressive. I know we're in the closing stretch of the season, so I just try to, as much attention as teams are giving me, I try to apply that same pressure on them just by attacking them and drawing fouls and getting into the paint. And, sometimes I'm attacking even when they're aggressive and when it's crowded. And other times, when they're overly aggressive, I'm, kicking it out, passing the ball ahead, advanced passes and hitting the pocket and things like that. So I didn't really look at it like that, but a lot of times when you're in the game, you don't see the game the same as when you're on the sideline. So, maybe that's what he saw. But I approached and played the game the way I play every game.
This is going to be a dogfight, it looks like, in terms of teams getting into the play-in. What are the things that give you belief that you guys will be in there?
I think right now a lot of these games aren't going in our favor. We played well last night. They take over the game in the second half. We played well again tonight. They beat us down the stretch. And a lot of times, and it's not guaranteed, but a lot of times it eventually comes back. And you start to win some of these games. And that's why I feel like it's possible for us. Some of these games start swinging back in our favor. And also the fact that it's such a tight race. It can be, the same way we feel tonight. We can win the first two games on this road trip or the first three games on this road trip, and a couple other teams that have to play each other. When I look at the schedule, you see they happen to go head-to-head, and they all in the same traffic that we in. A couple teams lose, and it's a completely different thing, So I think that's what is encouraging for me. Obviously, you don't want to be in a situation where you're fighting for 10 or 9 or anything like that, but at this point, we just got to keep scratching and clawing and understand that it's a tight race, and a lot of these teams are going to be playing against each other, and you just don't know what's going to happen. So we just got to keep pushing forward, and that's the one thing that we got to look at and know that it's a possibility.
Dan, how much more difficult does it get for you individually when Ant is not out there?
I mean, it's pretty difficult anytime you take 22 points off the floor, another ball handler, our other ball handler. Me and him have the ball in our hands most of the time, initiating offense, making plays, getting into the paint. So when you take that away, it just adds more responsibility for me as a ball handler, and it also allows the defense to give me more attention. You take a guy like Ant off the floor, and they obviously going to turn more attention to me and sell out a little bit more than they probably would if he was on the floor.
What was it like playing against CJ?
At first, it was kind of, it was weird. It felt like practice a little bit. A couple of the matchups. When we started the game, he started out guarding me. He was like picking up full court, but I knew that wasn't gonna last. But it felt like practice to start, and then I warmed up to it, and it was, it was what it was.
Dave, we talked to Chauncey pregame about trying to find that balance against Golden State. You guys took 23s in the second half, but so many of them are open, but a large portion of them are one pass or less. How do you guys strike that balance like tonight when a team like the Pelicans or even the Warriors last night, when they sell out on you, you're getting open looks, but it's only one pass away. Is that a premium spot for you guys kind of to be in that position? Because, the ball's ending up in Jeremy's hands, and he's shooting 40% three. The ball's ending up in Tease's hands, and he's shooting 50% since he got here. But for whatever reason, like pressure. But how do you strike that balance to where you've got to attack maybe a little bit more and break that double or extend the defense out a little bit further?
I feel like I've been attacking a lot. And I think one thing that's hard for somebody that's not doing it to understand is it's taxing. They're picking me up full court. Yeah, I can tell teams are intentionally picking me up full court just to make me work. And then they put me in actions defensively just to make me work. And when those double teams and the boxing ones and the traps come, it's my job to accept it and hit ahead. And like you said, Jeremy's shooting 40%. Tease is shooting the ball well right now. I feel like teams are the way they're defending. They're saying, we'll live with that. You're not gonna be the one to beat us. And I think we make enough shots in the first half last night. We made some shots tonight at a point in the game. But I think sometimes the other team is probably looking at it saying they feel like they're being let off the hook by us not putting pressure on that backside. So when the ball goes out, sometimes it is going to be that first opportunity is just that clean of a look, and you got to take it. And then other times you get the ball out of that double team, you got two guys near half court, and then you got to attack them again and make somebody else help. And instead of just one pass and it's one rotation, now you put them in multiple rotations, and then they end up in a 2-on-1, and you got one guy cutting and one guy at the three-point line, and then it becomes an even more high-quality shot. And you also making them work a little bit harder. And or you might just go to the paint and you might just get a layup, So I think, that's the next step to attacking it is you get that shot, obviously you'll take it, it's a good shot. And I think the next step is to, catch it and then make another play, attack and try to break them down and try to see what else we can get, and make them work a little bit.
As far as this being taxing, it kind of seems most similar to that stretch in the bubble, but then you kind of knew it was 8 games in the play-in. Do you have to kind of manage your energy differently knowing that you've got a longer runway left here?
I think it's, I'm in really good shape, and I give a lot of credit to our performance staff that I've been working with. I think this is the first year of my career where every day I got a schedule of, just addressing certain things with my body, and it's been helpful. It's been allowing me to recover and, stay on top of things that I didn't in the past, as far as the day-to-day in between games and practices and stuff like that. So it is taxing, like I said, but it's important to get to the next thing and recover so that I can bounce back. And I've been on top of that. And getting to this point is 20 games left. Obviously, I don't want to go out there and kill myself every game just to have a result like tonight. But, it has to happen. I know that I'm conditioned to do it physically and mentally, and it is what it is. I gotta go out there and do what I got to do to try to put some wins on the board and give us a chance to keep playing.
What would be the word you would use to describe this start to the second half of the season and why?
I would say that it's just tough because we're just not healthy. You come out missing Ant. We have all the travel issues. Me and Jeremy sit the first game. You missing Nurk. Justice is not playing. You know, he's one of our better defenders. He's another facilitator, a guy that we've had handling the ball a lot when he was healthy. And that allows, you know, myself and Ant to play behind the defense, which I haven't been able to do as much. So, you know, I'm happy to be in front of the defense to start a lot of these possessions. And, you know, they know where I am at all times. They can lock in on me much easier. You know, not having that size, you know what I mean? So I would just say that it's been tough. You know, a lot of adversity for our team to fight against. And then, you know, just being in position to win these games and then not pulling them out. You know, I think it's just been tough. I think that's the best way to describe it.
After games like this, where you lose to a team that is like right with you in the standings, and like what you were just saying about like not having guys, like do you think, I know you've talked about like wanting to stay optimistic about you guys are going to be able to stay in the mix and stay in the playoffs, but do you think after losses like this about just like how the margins are just kind of growing thinner every time?
No, it is, but like I said earlier, if you look at the standings and you say like, oh, well, then they got to go to Sacramento, and then they got to go to Dallas. Like they could easily drop those two, and we could easily win the next two, and then it's like we'll forget that we was having this conversation today because then we'll be ninth, you know what I mean, or eighth. So it is frustrating, you know what I mean. Especially I came into tonight like we win, we jumped them. And now we just keep pressing forward. You're going into the road trip feeling better. But now when you lose, it's like, damn, we 4 games under now, going on a long road trip. That's not going to be an easy road trip. So, but I think, like I said, because of how close the standings are and because everybody has to bump with each other, it's going to stay that way, It's going to stay that way, and we gotta keep going and, live with whatever, happens after that.